President Trump complaining often about the nation's $1 trillion trade deficit, $4 trillion in imports and $3 trillion in exports. But senior economics reporter Steve Liesman joins us now with a look at the $8 trillion of U.S. exports that you may have never heard of.
Exports in quotes.
Yes, take it away. Take it away.
President Trump claims the U.S. $1 trillion trade deficit shows the rest of the world's ripping us off. But looking at just the trade data doesn't tell the real story of how American multinational companies stand astride and in many cases dominate the global trading system. U.S. exports of goods and services total 3.1. U.S.-owned foreign affiliates, however, produce and sell overseas $8.1 trillion worth of stuff. These aren't really exports, but they are sales and end up as profits for America's great companies. McDonald's, they make and sell their burgers overseas. You're not going to ship them. Ford and other car companies, they typically produce and sell in local markets. Nike makes shoes in China, then sells them in Japan, in addition to the U.S. Intel, Apple all have large foreign affiliates that make and sell their wares abroad. In fact, some of them aren't even manufacturers. Joe Quinlan of Bank of America says, quote, to level the playing field, U.S. multinationals have long embedded themselves in country. Jumping trade barriers might otherwise curtail sales. These affiliates gain direct access to consumers, labor, and other resources. They also gain, this is important here, some immunity from trade tensions, exchange rate swings. David Gibbs of Yum Brands, he told Jim Cramer last night that they have had some problems, but sees his overseas operations as mostly immune from the tariff wars.
We are not affected by tariffs, as you know, for the most part, as most of our supply chain is usually sourced within country. So our model's pretty insulated from what's going on right now, and that's why you're seeing the success we're having.
The $8 trillion of sales by foreign affiliates is a major source of corporate profits and a big reason for exceptional U.S. stock market returns. Quinlan and others say the key concern now is a potential backlash against U.S. products and the U.S. brand, already seen in parts of Canada. While they have been mostly U.S. companies abroad and their $8 trillion in sales could be at risk for retaliatory actions in their home countries. Guys, this is how business is done. They go over there. We colonize economically a lot of countries, and we're very dominant.
Isn't the immediate question then that if we were to have some similar tariffs or difficulty in doing business in the United States, that just like we do moving over there, that would force them to move here, and that's what we're trying to do.
They are here,
right?
Joe,
but even more
so. That could be the case. We could also potentially bring back some production here that then goes out. But it's just a different way. We didn't invent this, but nobody's better at it than we are, which is going overseas.
But because we don't want to try to deal with all of the trade barriers,
right?
That's why we've moved over there to build stuff there.
That's one reason, right?
And I'm just saying, just for argument's sake, saying that it makes sense for us to put up some barriers so they move here.
It could help. It could help. But more interestingly is the way that we do business to be there, be local, use the labor, use the resources, tailor. I think American companies. By the way, some of this is licensing. Like Ireland is a big place for U.S. sales, and tax avoidance and things like that. It's not crazy, but ultimately we have to be very mindful of the real trading system in this world, and America's not being ripped off. We are dominant.
Well, I like that we're doing that.
Our American multinational companies are tremendous.
Good. I'm glad that we're doing that, and I hope that we make them do that coming back.
Yeah, they're already selling something, enormous amounts of money.